So welcome back to DecoyNoise and a special episode of Decoy Court where I'm covering an r/relationships thread that is his regular hookup and ex-girlfriend, a 30-year-old female, and OP's a 32-year-old male. They've been hooking up for the last year and a half and she is pregnant now. She hooks up with another guy and told me yesterday that she wants to skip the DNA test and credit him as the father, and OP is beside themselves. So as always, we'll read the story in its entirety, then we take it over to Decoy Court where I give you my knee-jerk reaction. We'll do the decoy defense where we try to figure out the inverse of that, but after that we just kind of read some of the top comments and also your comments down below, but let's go ahead and get to the story right now. So OP wrote, his ex-girlfriend, a 30-year-old female, and regular hookup, he's a 32-year-old male, she's pregnant now. She also hooks up with another man and informed me that she wants to skip the DNA test and credit the other guy as a father. He's now sad. For years, he wanted to be a father. He has no children. This girl happens to be my ex-girlfriend, and since breaking up last, we've remained close and we still regularly hook up. She's maintained a friendly relationship with a man who she dated out of our relationship and ended, and is open to me about this and has always been. These two also broke up but remain close friends. Despite this, she complains to me that he is annoying and that he still wants to be with her. Anyways, last week she tells me she's pregnant, and based on her situation, she thinks she's 4 to 5 weeks along. She initially says she isn't sure who the father is, since she has been with both of us recently, and I did have intercourse with her during her... Oh my god, okay, so she admitted that, you know, they probably, either one of them are the dad. She initially wanted a DNA test to see who the father is. Yesterday, however, she states she wants to skip having a DNA test, and her reasoning is that all signs lead to him being the dad, and that he has stepped up and wants to be the dad. I'm stunned and heartbroken over these developments, and I told her that I want our friendship to end and that I wish to never talk to her again. And I can't stop thinking about this, and it's eating me alive. Should I pursue a court-ordered DNA test, or should I move on with my life? I will wonder for 8 more months who the father is, and I just can't hang. I feel like I'm on an episode of Maury, and I'm completely to blame for it. I just need to know what I should do, leave it alone or pursue legal options. Too long didn't read. Ex-girlfriend and regular hookup is pregnant and she still is hooking up with him and another ex. Wants to credit him as a father and skip the DNA test. What should I do? So, we're taking this to Decoy Court because obviously this is something that belongs in Decoy Court, but I would go ahead and say right now that, you know, the game is the game. You play with fire and you get burned. This seems like a terrible situation that OP should not be in. What is he thinking about being with someone that his ex that's still hooking up with their ex, and he's still like really into her and wants parents, and wants to be a parent, and they're probably doing it unprotected? Like, this seems like we're running into a lot of just kind of sad sack situations where OP just seems like, oh, I'm desperate for this girl and I really like her, but I can't express that, so I'll take whatever I can get and I'll just deal with it. It's like, she obviously wants to be the other guy with the other guy more than you. Honestly, if I was in that particular situation, I would probably just tell the other dude, figure out who he is, and say, hey, look, obviously we're both hooking up with her. Maybe he knows it, maybe he doesn't, but just say, I want to know, do you really want to raise my kid the rest of your life? Let's figure it out. And probably they'll say, whoa, 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 whoa. You might be the father too, and they'll want that, and then she'll be resentful. But the thing is, though, is there's really no situation where OP... or the girlfriend's not going to be resentful. Like, his rights are his rights, and does he really want to be raising a kid with her? I don't know. This seems like a whole mess right there, but I'm saying that he probably should just step up. If he really wants to know if he's a father or not, he needs to say, if you want it, ask for it, get it, it's your right, or whatever. I'm not sure the legality of all this or whatever, if it's even possible, but if he really wants this, he needs to go ahead and say, hey, I'm going to speak up and go for what I want. But I'm going ahead and say the decoy defense of the whole situation is, you know, OP's always been the side piece and she doesn't really care. Like, it was one of those things where she told him, like, hey, you might be the father, already in preparation that the other guy wasn't going to step up. And she's complaining to the sad sack that the OP is saying, like, oh, he wants to be with me, but I don't want to be with him. And that's just fan fiction in her head saying, like, you know, she's desperate for her ex-boyfriend. She's just being used as a side slice. But finally, the other ex-boyfriend's like, okay, I'll step up. I'll be your dad. I'll take the responsibility. So she's like, okay, yeah, F that. F the ex-boyfriend. No, you never could have been the father. They've only been sleeping together like once every other month or whatever. And the ex-boyfriend has just been putting it down all day, every day, whenever he has the free time or whatever. So he's probably the father. The decoy defense, as always, is just ridiculousness. But before we go ahead and slide over those top comments, make sure you guys are taking that short break at the commercial break giving me your input down below, letting me know what you think what the decoy defense would be, or what your thoughts on it, because it's not really am I the antagonist or not, it's just relationships. But make sure you're taking the time to subscribe down below if you haven't already. But let's go ahead and go to the top comment right now, which is, if he's so ready to step up and she suddenly changed her mind about testing, sounds like he was the only one unaware that there are other dudes in the picture. This is going to get messy if you pursue it. You do have the right to do so and only can decide if you can live without having an answer. And here's the thing, with 23andMe and all that other stuff, he may find out later on he's not the father. Like, I was kind of thinking the side guy or the other man doesn't, or the main guy probably, doesn't know about OP's existence, so it's just going to make it messy. And if he really wants to put his foot down and say, I need to know, he should probably tell the other dude, but he also needs to be prepared that, hey, he's going to tell the dude, but he may be the father, but then the girlfriend's going to be, ex-girlfriend's going to be really mad at him, probably deny him visitation rights and get sole custody, and it's just going to make it all bad. But if he really, really needs to know, which he has every right to, he should do it just knowing that this is the nuclear option and it's just going to go badly for him, no matter what. So the next reply says, also, don't just get yourself tested, get everyone tested, including her current boyfriend. If you go through with the testing, afterbirth is possible because testing in the womb is risky unless methods change from 10 years. Okay, so the test saying that you aren't the father doesn't mean the other guy automatically is. You can't make him do the test, of course, but you could try to convince him. What I'm trying to hint at, and this is only fiction at the point, mind you, is that she might have more partners still. And this is kind of this got heavily downvoted, but it's kind of a vindictive reply saying, hey, let's just shame her as much as possible because there could be other dudes. Granted, this could be the actual thing that's going on where there are other guys involved, but OP's not there about getting revenge and trying to make her pay for having another dude. OP just wants to know if he's a dad or not, which, you know, anybody would probably want to be in that situation. Let's go ahead and read to the next reply saying, tell him that you could be the father and watch him freak out and push for the DNA test himself, which I believe that he probably would if he knew about OP's existence. Next reply was, that is probably the most efficient solution. She won't take it well, but what can you do? Which is my thoughts as well, where she wants to sweep this on the rug, no testing, no testing. The other guy doesn't know about it. Otherwise, he would probably want to know, because who would want to be on the hook for a kid they didn't know? They never were intending to make and could possibly be somebody else's. Like, it almost seems like it's an episode of Maury where they're not trying to be the father, they're just trying to exonerate themselves of the responsibility later on. So this may be the other side, not the main side. But let's go ahead and read the next reply saying, are you sure he knows about you? Sounds to me like she's dating this guy and has lied to you about the status of their relationship while hooking up with you on the side. She doesn't want her boyfriend to know he might not be the father. If you want to make sure you are the father, contact him directly to say you should both get tested. So everybody kind of thinks what I think as well. Let's go ahead and cover another reply right now saying, if nothing else, I think this is a sign you need to change your dating strategies. If you want to be a dad and want a stable relationship where you and the mother are working together to build a life and a family, which means keep it wrapped until you know a woman will be a good life partner and try to date a life partner with compatibility in mind. And this idea right here where he's dating his ex, still wants kids with her, and knows he's hooking up with somebody else where he could possibly be in this situation, and also is a little bit too bashful to step up for his own rights on whether or not he is a father or not, kind of illustrates a story for me where he's probably not likely the number one option, and is just kind of like sitting around hoping and wishing that she's going to turn it around, even though she likes the other dude so much more than him that she's willing to say, okay, cool, now that he's willing to the other guy is willing to commit to the girlfriend, yeah, whatever, OP doesn't exist anymore, don't even get a test, I don't care if you're the father or not, I'd rather be with him. You know that he's a second option. So he doesn't strike me as a person that's really the I hate to say it, for lack of a better word, he doesn't seem like the man to me. He's not the guy that she's swooning over and trying to be. He doesn't seem like he's the type that's going to be getting lots of different options where you can say, oh, let's change your dating strategy. Oh yeah, he's going to get the same quality girl as the girlfriend and be able to get, you know, someone to want to commit to him. It just seems like a whole thing where it's like, OP takes what he can get. He's happy for it, even if it's an ex-girlfriend that's still hooking up with another dude that would rather be with the other dude and refuses to get a test, and kind of exposes him to disease. Like, I hate to be super hypocritical and mean to him, but that's essentially what's happening right now. So, as always, if you like this content, even though it kind of got in a weird way, like the Decoy Court and everything we do over here, make sure you subscribe down below with the notifications on, because we are kind of in a transition period as to what I'm doing. Am I doing this content, that content? Let me know in the comment section what you like more of. But as always, if you made it to the celebration, that is the end of the video, make sure you're liking it, you're favoriting it, you're putting it in your download feed or whatever it may be. But if you know anybody that might like DecoyNoise, the channel, or this video in particular, make sure you share it with them. Send them a link. It's really easy to do it down below, or post it on Facebook or Twitter. say, hey, DecoyNoise is real fun. It's a cool podcast. Make sure you check it out. But if you don't like the content that much and don't want to support me on that level, just go ahead and put this on autoplay and watch the next episode of DecoyNoise coming up next.